Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Are you guys all comfortable and familiar with what Sew Together It has been?
You could just
Yes.
explain it. Some people aren't, so you can go ahead and explain it.
So basically what happened was when I moved here to be near my husband and I retired, we moved here to be near our grandkids and son and daughter-in-law. And I was a big time sewer in Maryland. I used to sell sewing machines, teach them. I used to do private lessons and group lessons and all, and I belonged to groups, different quilting groups, charity sewing. And when I got here, I couldn't find really anything that fit my schedule, everything that seemed to happen when I was watching our grandson. And there wasn't anything like during the day, during the week for retired folks. So luckily met up with Michelle and she graciously let me try doing a group at the Edgemont Park House, which has basically been loose. It's not really a formal class. I have done private lessons pre-COVID, but for the most part, we just support each other. It's free. It's come in and use the beautiful space in Edgemont Park, and everybody work on your own project or share things. And periodically we've had demonstrations on how to do things. So the way we decided to kick off doing this remotely is for me to demonstrate how to do a tote bag. And the reason I was doing the tote bag was because I saw for Tony's Kitchen and Human Needs Pantry and one of the churches in Bloomfield that they needed reusable grocery bags to give out the food to the folks that they were giving out the food. So I said, well, you know, I certainly have some extra fabric and I certainly can make up a tote bag, super simple. And every time I seem to do tote bags, I kind of go about it a little different way. And I came up with a great idea, I thought, especially for people who shop at Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's has a great bag for groceries. And what I did was I just took my Trader Joe's bag and let me put this down so you can see let me know if you need me to adjust or anything. Can everybody see okay?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So this is, and I apologize, I should have done white thread or something, but this is my first Trader Joe tote bag. So it has what you call a box bottom, and it has these short handles that are short enough that if you're holding it by your side, it won't drag the floor. And then I made another one, hoping you could see a little better. Now this one is from home dec weight fabric, like canvas. And this one is just the like quilter's cotton. And with the flat bottom. And the way I did this to make it super simple, I wanted the flat bottom for the volume of the canned goods in the boxes, where oftentimes the tote bags are like this. They're just two squares and there's no, you know, base to it. I wanted it to be a little different. So I'm going to do it in a little miniature form so you can all see better. It's a bag that I got at the store. I used originally the Trader Joe bag, but this is one from Cost Plus World Market we had gotten before the pandemic, of course. And what's nice about it is it has the short handles, it has the flat bottom, and I don't like pattern drafting. I like to cut it up and throw it together. So what I decided to do, which worked really well, was to cut with my non-fabric scissors, my paper scissors. I cut it into two pieces, which is basically cutting down the side crease all the way to the base. Same thing on the other side. Then across the center of the bottom. So I have the two hats.
Okay.
So I have to keep it in my mind. I'm going to cut two of these, put one of the paper aside. To make this flat, to be able to cut it, the corner of the side, I just cut here. And cut here. Now, here's my pattern. For the fabric, does anybody have fabric questions? No? Good. So you guys are pretty so savvy. Of course, like I said, I want to do two. So I double my fabric, place this on top, and just cut around. The depending on how sophisticated you are with your cutting, you could use a rotary cutter with a blade. You could
Are you adding a little for the seam? Or for
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, perfect question. Yep. When the other thing you could do is you could trace if you're going to do a lot of them, or if you're unsure of remembering the seam allowance, you could put this on another larger piece of fabric paper and cut out a different pattern. But I do this all the time, so I'm just going to go ahead and come out about a 1/2 inch, and I'm using my edges that are already there. This is just one of those inexpensive, water-soluble fabric markers. If you have light fabric, you can even just use a pencil. So as you can see, I've got about a 1/2 inch or so around my bag. So with this doubled, and of course I normally do it a little more neatly when I'm not being watched. Where's my scissors? Oh gosh. Huh?
If you're doing it for groceries, wouldn't you probably want to use canvas and heavy duty thread or something like that?
The canvas, yes, this is canvas. This is like home deck cotton canvas fabric.
Right, but you showed one with, we showed one with quilting fabric. That would be nice, but not for heavy loads, I would think.
Right,
wrong?
and well, yes. I did one with just the cotton. It's one that my grandson uses to throw his stuffed animals in when he's coming back and forth.
Okay.
So for this particular one, for me, yeah, it's fine. If it were for groceries, I probably would cut 4 pieces and have it lined.
Oh, okay.
So, and I can demonstrate that if you like.
No, you don't need to.
But
I just
it's the
wondered about
same.
the weight.
Yeah. The other thing I've done them taking leftover fabrics from something and quilted. And as long as you line it or back it with something like muslin or whatever, I'm straightening this as I cut it. And another thing I often do is just once I have 1/2 cut, I find the center piece, and then I have 2 that will be the same now because even though my lines are not. And of course, these are my good fabric scissors. I cut the paper bag with my old fabric scissors that got dull. And so now I have 2 pieces like this that are going to construct the bag. So all I'm going to do here is sew, and I'm going to turn this over so those lines aren't too distracting here. Can you see that all right? What I'm going to do here is cut 3 separate sections. And I'm going to leave this little square kind of area unsewn. This is for me the easiest way to make a flat bottom tote. Now I've used this to make large bags, small bags. There was a class we did a couple of years ago with expensive, gorgeous home deck fabric. And we had little short handles and we put beautiful trim and it became like an evening bag. You could, make it shorter. So it's more of an envelope size. You can use this for gift bags, almost anything. So all I'm going to do here, and these are, you guys all familiar with the Quilt Clips?
No.
Yes.
So someone said no, so you can pin. Or my latest go-to has been these little quilt clips. These were originally made when you're putting something called a binding around your quilt. These hold that strips of fabric around the edge of the quilt. But they're also great for just temporarily holding fabric, and you don't get poked, and they're easy to pick up. They're large. So,
What happened to me more than once with those clips is they fall apart.
oh, really?
The two pieces just come apart from one another, and it seems like it would be straightforward to put them back together, but I can't figure out how to do it. So I'm like fed up with them. You've never had that happen?
You mean the clips themselves?
Yeah, one clip suddenly separates into its two pieces.
Yeah, like a clothespin.
Yeah.
But a clothespin
Yeah.
you can put back together. She's right. And I haven't been able to do it either. And I think it's who makes them. Sometimes they're just not really made, but yeah, they tend to, and it may just be the manufacturer, I don't know either.
Yeah, I would get with the manufacturer and try to get them replaced, but I haven't had that issue.
Yeah.
However, are you doing super thick things when you do that, Joanne?
No, not particularly. I mean, just,
Because- Okay. Because the other thing is they do make them quite large.
right.
Okay, all right, you guys have seen that. So let me see. Can you see my machine? Oh, it's so
Yep.
white and glary. Is that better? All right, so all I'm gonna do here, and I do apologize, I'm gonna sew kind of sideways so you can see, but I'm just going to use the edge of my presser foot. I did thread this up and test it earlier to make sure it was making a stitch. Find my foot pedal. Story of my life is the scissors and the foot pedal. So I'm just going to sew where the clips are. That's the other thing when making something like this, where I'm wanting to sew certain areas. Of course, I'm leaving the top open. I put the clips or the pins where I want to sew, and I try to remember that where there are no clips or pins, don't sew there. I really dislike ripping seams. So. And I do like to reinforce these two ends because I'm going to be, pulling on them and stuff later. So basically, I don't have one prepared, so I'll just do all three. I was thinking of doing like a scene on TV and pull one out done, but watching the grandkids, grandsons 3 times a week, energy is always low. But anyway. So that's 2, and I'm going to go to my 3rd. I am using the white thread here. Hopefully you can see what I'm sewing. Doesn't matter so much right now, but it will in a few minutes.
So you're leaving both corners open?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Okay. let me show you what I just did on the table. All right, so can you see? I sewed from here to here,
Yep.
from here to here, and here to here, and not the corners.
Okay.
I'm a thread snipper. I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand threads hanging everywhere. Although they're all over me and the floor, but so this is the wrong side, the inside. And I want to do that boxed corner. And this is where it can sometimes get tricky or messy. Because I pre-cut out these corners, it's going to be very simple. Now, normally I would go and press this. To save time, I'll just do a little finger press. Something I learned in Girl Scouts. One of the things my teacher taught me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you changed my life. Okay, so those are pressed open. I'm seeing my seams aren't too straight, but you understand. Okay, so now for these corners, I'm going to open up this
Oh, how
box,
cool. Yeah. Match up the seams. Yeah.
match up the seams, open that up, and I put a clip right there. And in sewing across here, and it's not super perfect, but I take more time when I'm, as you know. All right, so I'm going to sew from here to here and from here to here, and that will be the flat bottom.
I'm impressed that you can sew sideways like that.
Yeah. When I used to teach in the middle of a Joann fabric store in our little carpeted area, I would sew standing up behind someone's back, and
Oh, wow.
Wow.
it was a small area, sometimes up on a counter. It's just focusing on keeping the edge of the fabric right here on the edge of the foot and not worrying about anything else. So there's one. And you kind of have to, you know, with this canvas stuff especially, you kind of have to make sure you got it all together and the flat open. So now I have one bag inside out. This is where if you wanted to do a lining, you could do another one exactly the same size, exactly the same way, maybe of a lighter fabric. So now once I turn this right
Lighter
side out,
meaning less heavy?
less heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the canvas is going to kind of build up, and it's, you know, you get
Right.
2 and then 3 and then 4 layers. So I would probably use, you know, like a shirt weight or a lighter weight cotton. So now I'm just going to poke the corners in. Pull those out. And there's your basic bag. Now, to put the straps, the simplest thing to do is go to the fabric store, order the nylon strapping, because then you don't have to make your straps. what I like to do, and this doesn't work for the cotton strapping, but it works for the nylon. I like to take a match and just melt the edge, because if not, it's going to ravel. Here's the piece I cut off. And this is going to ravel out on you if you don't kind of melt that. If it were the cotton strap, I would do like a zigzag or something back and forth to keep that from raveling. So now I just want to put this on the bag, and I just go back to my original, where did I throw it? Here we go. Back to my original bag. It's about the same size. And you can have them on the outside or the inside. This one's on the outside. This one I got at Niagara Falls is on the inside. Doesn't matter. And you want to, now this is another place where you might want to use your marker. You can just put a little mark where you want your straps to be. And if you don't like, you know, where they are, you can always change it. So the mark I had for that little thin strap, I'm putting the, for the wide strap, I'm putting the inside of the width against the mark. And I'm just going to secure these down. The best way to secure them is actually to sew across, down, over, up, and then make like an X. That's something you see on things you buy a lot. The other thing is this fabric, the way I cut it, the finished salvage edge is right there at the top.
Perfect.
Since I did that, I don't have to fold it over. But I'm sure, as you know, if you don't have that edge at the top, you'll just fold this down before you put your straps on. And I'll sew this on. And if you want these to all be the same, draw it out, measure it, and then they'll all look alike. But in this case, if it's just a utilitarian bag for my own use, if you can't see it from a galloping horse, it doesn't matter. Okay, so.
From a galloping horse.
Yeah, if you're sitting on a galloping horse and you rode by and you didn't notice it. Okay, so down and just back and forth it. Twist and turn it. Now, when you're turning it around, sometimes the machines allow you to kind of move this back and forth a little bit. It's a little wobbly. So after you get a position, whoops, and before you lower the presser foot, just kind of let it settle, and then you won't break your needle hitting the needle plate. And you can, if it's hard to turn it around, you can actually just put it in reverse and reverse to that other corner to make your X. Sometimes it's hard to completely get it around. Where's my needle? There it is. Oh, this is going to look horrible. Anyway, you go around this as many times as you want. Trim all your threads. And this isn't going to go anywhere. And do that for all 4 edges. And then the last part, because this is fabric and not paper, you know, like the one you get at the store, your bottom is going to be a little flexible. So you can take your cereal box or your Amazon package boxes, and you can just measure here and cut rectangle and just set it inside. So this one would be 5 inches by 7 inches, cut 5 by 7 piece, lay it in the bottom, and then you won't have any problem with your flat bottom. Of course, cut your threads. Any questions?
If you don't want that ugly piece of cardboard in the box, you could also, in the bottom, you could also cover your cardboard with some fabric.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something I've been intrigued with lately with my craft projects is the pretty cardboard that tissue boxes come with.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking you could have like a base piece of cardboard or paper, stiffer paper, and glue some of those on, and that would be pretty too.
Yeah, that would be.
So anyway, same thing with the other 2 straps, and you're good to go. So what are you guys working on? The tote bag or something else, or?
I'm putting hangers on the back of this little piece of Van Vleck garden that I made. Hangers meaning things to put the pole through so that they can hang it on the wall.
Oh, let's see the front of that again. Can everyone
Thanks.
see? Or am I highlighting?
Many of you have seen this, I think, already. I show it off wherever. So that's, yeah, that's about it. I participated in a workshop about mapping, and we were instructed to do something that was nature oriented, you know, a walk that you include a nature piece all the time. And for me, when I take a walk, I always end up either passing through or staying for a while at Van Vleck Gardens. So this
That's
it.
beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And you have it signed, Van Vleck House, you have your little, and you have your name on there?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm also, I mean, when I do this, so I'm doing the hanger now because I want to give it to the girls over at Van Vleck. And on the back, I'm going to put, you know, the date and all that stuff. So
Great.
That's what I'm working on. I'm almost got that, the things that, these things on. So good.
Anyone else?
So I have a question. Do you think you could ever do a tutorial on putting in like pockets and stuff? Like I've made these years ago. I haven't sewn in a while, but I don't know if you can see, I used to make these tote bags.
Oh yeah, with the, is that like upholstery? What do you call that strap?
Yeah, this is, my mind just went blank. But yeah, you make with these, and then, you know, I would line it on the inside, but I wanted to learn how to do like maybe pockets or zippered in tote. Do you think you could ever do a tutorial on that? Putting in like a zippered or pocket, it doesn't have to be zipper, it could be.
Yeah, so
Sure.
That's a
It would
good
go in
idea.
the line. Does it go in the lining? Like when you put the lining in, does the with the space or the pocket or the zipper go inside with the lining side, or I guess it could do, or you could do the outside also and do like a pocket. Like that's what I would like to learn.
Sure,
Some
I'd be
type of
happy
pocket.
to do that. Let me go grab my handbag. It has some pockets. One has a
Okay.
zipper, I don't know about the others. This is a bag that was really constructed basically the same way with the flat bottom. The way I got the pattern, ignore the straps for now, is I just took some muslin and just strip pieced these leftover strips from a quilt. This was a larger piece, and this is a pocket with a zipper on the front. And I could show you easily how to put that zipper in and how to make that The inside,
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
put the did you put the zipper on the pouch and then sew the pouch on, or you put the zipper while the pouch was already on the bag?
I sewed the zipper and made the rectangle of the pocket first.
Okay, okay.
Then, yeah, while it was still flat pieces,
Right, that's right.
before I sewed the sides or the corners or anything,
Yeah.
I placed that on the front side that I had chosen for the bag.
Mhm.
And I just top stitched around the edge.
Mhm.
But it's a really simple zipper treatment that I have.
Yeah.
There are some on the inside here also, but I'm peeking in my bag and I don't really remember how I did it.
I would think it would be so hard. Zippers are the bane of my existence. And so, I mean, if you have some hints and tricks, I would love it. But I always try to do it when it's flat, not while it's, and the same with the straps. I put the straps in before I make the bag, I sew the bag side, because I find that it's a lot easier to maneuver, and I make my own straps. I never bought the nylon ones before, but yeah, so.
Well, Miriam, you're making two good points. One is I always, even when I have done, which I do very little for myself, I've done for kids and other people,
Right.
clothing, garment construction, I will change the order of construction to do the zipper first.
Yeah, good.
Always do my zipper. And then the straps, yes, it's probably better in this project. I wasn't even thinking about it, but it's probably better in this project to go ahead and mark and put your straps on before you start the side and bottom construction. I like that idea. Should we change that order of construction to be easier? Oh, and with straps, does anyone need to see a quick basic demo of how I do my straps?
Yeah.
How you make them? Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do my, I do it 4-H style, you sort of just do it. No patterns,
Right.
just do it.
Well, that's how lately that's what a lot of my sewing is. 4-H or Girl Scout. Take a square and turn it into a triangle.
That's exactly right. I have 4-H tutelage. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, 4-H is like Girl Scout. And then when you're done, square it up.
Yeah, right.
So this is my because one of the things that I also do not like is turning tubes
Oh.
right side out.
Oh, horrible.
Blah.
Oh, yeah.
So, with my life, it's just like, keep it simple, silly.
Well, yeah, who has that time? I mean, it takes a while to just get it through. Think about when
Yeah.
you're trying to get a string that comes off your hooded sweatshirt or something. Oh my God.
I
Well, you
just
see now-
buy the stuff that's like,
That's right.
I'm not going to turn those little lingerie.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys just gotta take a breath and sit and let it be a little meditation of the turning.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
We'll let you meditate, Joanne. I'll
Right.
drop you off at your house.
Yeah. That's what I do when I'm doing knitting and there's all these knots in the
Yeah,
yarn,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God. I usually just call my husband's name and go, here, you do it. Because at one point I'll just cut it, but he won't. He'll work at it, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's like, do you ever make a white sauce or something and you've got to stir like what seems like forever?
Oh yeah.
You just have to sink into it and say, this is great.
I
Chop
will do
vegetables,
that,
chop,
yeah.
chop, chop, chop,
Joanne,
chop,
you
chop,
should
chop.
be teaching meditation while doing kitchen things.
Yeah, well, it
Well,
is.
let
I
me show
think
you this strap thing
Yeah,
that I
sorry.
feel is the simplest. I've got a piece of fabric that's the length of the strap that I want. And
Now,
the
I'm seeing Joanne in the
Oh.
there.
I don't know what that's a problem for you.
Oh, Joanne, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right. Except I would like to see this picture.
I'm on the screen. I tried to get myself off and it won't go away.
Okay, it may be the host that can do it. I don't know.
Let me
Michelle,
see.
can you just spotlight our
Sue.
presenter?
Yeah.
Michelle, are
Sue?
you there, my dear? Let me
I
see if
am.
I can. Oh,
Yeah.
can you see me now?
Yep, I'm just gonna remove Joanne.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, there you are. There you are. That didn't hurt, right? That wasn't so bad.
Nothing personal, dear.
No, not at all. No,
Guys,
I
you're killing
like
me. You're killing me.
So here's a piece of that canvas from the bag if I wasn't going to use this nylon. And let me tell you, I'm going to be ripping out this awful top stitching and replacing it anyway. So, but anyway, here's my length of my strap. And I like to make it maybe, depending on the scrap of fabric I have, anywhere between 4 and 5 and maybe 3.5, because I want 2 pieces for the 2 straps. And this is where I just top stitch the sewing. I'll fold it lengthwise in half and I give it a really good press. Just going to finger press right now. So that's folded my length in half. I'll take one side and following the fold that I've pressed in, I'll meet one side. And when you're ironing, you just have to be careful of your fingers. There are little finger protectors you can buy actually that are silicone in the notions aisle. And then I'm going to fold this over to get my other end in. What I like to do, honestly, is just, this will not be as it's sewn, but it will just get the crease in. I press this over the top, open it, and then tuck it in.
Yeah. It's like origami, like John does.
Yeah. Now here's my strap, and I just, using the edge of my presser foot, or you can even use, if you need a guide, that blue painter's tape and put it on the bed of your machine so that I have 2 nicely distanced from the edge top stitching. And that is, let me see, I have a sample of it. Where did I put it?
So Sue, what is the, okay, so you did about 4 inches. What is the width of that finished product?
So this is, let's see, 1 inch and between 1/4 and 1/2.
Okay.
1 inch and 1/4.
Okay. All right.
Where's
Thank you.
my other bag? You guys, do you
We took
do
it.
stuff when you're sewing, or just me?
Yeah, it goes on the other side of my machine.
I swear I had it here a minute ago. Anyway, you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the straps if you're making them. And I don't always make them the same color. Sometimes I'll do contrast. Or if I needed to match up, the best way to get it to match is to use the fabric that you made the bag with, if you want it to match. As far as zippers go, if you guys like, I will be happy to next time demonstrate, and of course Michelle will have it recorded, how I like to do a simple zipper installation and what you can do with it. I'll gather up different samples and show you. And it applies to pockets and little
Okay.
zip bags and different things.
Right. I think Sharon asked for pockets, so that might work for both things, right?
Yeah, well, you were saying zipper
Yeah.
pockets, right, Sharon?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I like a little clutch
Yeah,
bag.
pockets or zippers, anything that I can put stuff in.
Right.
So Sharon, would you also like to see pockets without zippers?
Yes.
Okay. There's a couple ideas pop into my mind about that. Okay,
Oh, okay. Thank you.
sure. Anybody else? Anyone else want to share or ask? Hi, there I am. Boy, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay.
You're good.
So a couple of you joined after we had started. I see Patricia, Marie Claire, Carol, I think you were here when we started. Did you miss anything that you need me to catch you up on? You can unmute yourself and feel free to share.
No, it's Marie Claire. No, I'm good. Thank you. It was great.
Sure.
I'd
Sure.
like to, this is Patricia. I'd like to see how you cut the bag initially, especially to get the bottom.
Yes. If everyone else doesn't mind, I'll just do that quickly now. So once again, I just took a shopping bag. This is one from World Market. And I cut down the sides with my paper scissors and cut across the bottom and the center of the other side. And then I cut the corners. You see this okay?
Yes.
Cut the corner here. And here. Laid this on my fabric and added in my seam allowance. You can use the rotary cutter. Are you a sewer, Patricia?
Yes. Yes.
Great. So you know what I'm doing. I'm just going to add a 1/2 inch, draw it around, cut that out, and then I have my 2 pieces that are sewn together to construct the bag. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for joining us, you guys. So if you aren't familiar with Sew Together Montclair, you can join the Facebook page. And we have, not super often, but periodically people will post things on there. It's also what we use to further announce where the Edgemont Park Sew Together meetings were happening. This is never meant to be a formal class situation, and it's all volunteer. And what I offered at the beginning of the group is that I have a lot of expertise with sewing machines and how they function, not repairs, but how they function. And if you're having any trouble, people would bring in their machine to Edgemont Park, and I would, figure out, if I could help them, or if it really true needed to go to a repair person. And basics of machine operation. And we had different people coming to demonstrate, as I did today, and share or just come in and work on things together in that beautiful work area at Edgemont Park. So hopefully we'll get back there soon. But in the meantime, this is what I offered to do. Anybody here has any other questions or comments? You guys want to see my grandsons?
Where are they?
Of course.
Where
Of
are
course
they?
you do, you said.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, they're
how
so gorgeous.
cute. They are so cute.
How old are they?
So the younger one, Eli, is 7 months, and Miles, the older one, is 4 years,
Oh,
and is very anxious to get back into pre-K. Hopefully they'll do that in a couple of weeks.
yeah. Oh,
And
gosh, they're
Eli
gorgeous.
is a handful. He's starting to eat and do the ba 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 ma 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 and biting everything, because I'm sure his teeth will be there. So. And that's why we moved to New Jersey. Yay!
Aw.
Did you move from? I guess I must have missed that part. Where
That's
did you
okay. The last place we lived was in White Marsh, Maryland, but our basic center was Towson, Maryland. We all graduated from there. And so my son and daughter-in-law met. My husband worked there. We all worked there at different times, but basically Towson. Yeah. And my husband retired and I retired, and we moved here to be near our one son, daughter-in-law, and grandkids.
Yeah, I know what that's like. That's why I'm here in Texas for now.
Oh,
It's not a state. Yeah. No, I live in New Jersey, but we come here, and pandemic made us stay longer. But it's not a state I really wanted to move to, or so it's temporary. I think, I don't know, but they're here for life. This is it. This is what they want. I'm like, wow.
So Marianne, how old are your grandkids?
I only have one. I have one grandson who's 9. Yeah. So He's all grown up. He's like 9 going on 40. But yeah,
Nice.
it's great. Well, you know, I give you a lot of credit for doing that because it's tough to uproot. But you were both retired, so that's a little bit easier, I think. You know, and what a great community you have right where you are in New Jersey. You know, and you can
Yeah, it's never a place we would have chosen. And people from Maryland, I grew up in Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, the Delmarva area. And people are like, "You're going to northern New Jersey? Oh no, what are you doing?" And I tell you, we just love it here. It's
Yeah.
great. This Montclair, Bloomfield, Verona,
Yeah.
you know, this whole little area is tremendous.
Yeah, you still got the East Coast flavor, so it's not that foreign. When you start heading west, it's foreign. It's different. It's very different. Very different. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually born in Michigan, and I have family. A lot of family lives up there, and we go visit periodically. And yeah, it's a little different when you go into the grocery store and there's a guy with his gun on his holster. It's a little crazy.
That's a story I tell because I do quilting one in here in Texas, and this is pre-pandemic, and we're in a good sized room, and I'm always in the corner. I like to be there by the window and all of that. And most of the time I just listen to the conversations and whatever. And the one time they were talking about guns and, you know, what kind and what size and what that, and I mean, because here on the doors of grocery stores it says no shoes, no shirt, no service, no guns. That store you're not allowed to bring your gun in. So as they're talking about all this, I'm going, that is a conversation that you would never hear in New Jersey. That's not going to happen, especially from all the women. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. It was really very funny. I was like, oh no, that already told me I was in a big culture change. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guns, right?
You see that in Georgia too.
Do you? Yes. I've never been there.
Yeah, please leave your guns out. I'm like, I said to my sister, what the heck? And she said, yeah.
I know. It never. Yeah, it's not it's certainly not in our culture here in Jersey.
Where in Michigan is it that you see the gun things?
Oh, I don't know. Anywhere. When we go there, we travel a lot. We go to the UP, we go to Traverse City, Bay City, and over in the Thumb. I have the family's originally from the Thumb area, and people have kind of moved to different parts of Michigan. So when we go, we're on the road back. It's a big state, and
no, I know. I was
don't
raised in
remember
Michigan.
exactly.
The reason I'm asking is I was raised. The reason I'm asking is I was raised there, and I go back and visit my sister, you know, annually or more than annually. And in Western Michigan, lower Western Michigan, like just maybe 2 hours north of Chicago, I don't see that ever, the guns. So that just surprised me when you said that.
Yeah, it's the more rural areas north, and
I think when you said UP, that sums it up.
yeah.
Got the Yahoos up there, baby.
Is that anywhere near Lansing?
No.
No.
Yeah, Upper Peninsula is like way north. It's on the other side of the Mackinac Straits.
Oh, okay.
I've been there. It's nice though, actually.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Lansing
is pretty metropolitan. It's near the university, the colleges.
Well, Lansing is Lansing is the capital of the state as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Some detail.
I've only been to Detroit, so
Well,
and that was a special trip to go to the Motown Museum. I drove.
Yeah,
that was a good one. Yeah, I've been there. That's a nice museum.
Yeah,
Actually.
it was nice.
You've been to the Ford Museum? The Ford Museum?
Yeah, we did the Ford Museum.
Yeah.
We drove from Ohio to Detroit just to go see these things. They had a new African American museum. It's huge. It took us 2 days. And then they had the Motown Museum, and then they had the Ford Museum. And then we went in that little tunnel. We went to, was that Windsor, I think? Windsor, Canada or something. And we had food at a Japanese restaurant and back in the town. So we got a couple of trips out of it.
That was
Yeah.
before the days of the TSA, apparently.
Yes, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. All you needed was ID, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Carol. My first teaching experience was in Manistee, Michigan in
Oh.
the 60s. And from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like it's changed too much from the mid 60s to 2021.
I haven't been up there in ever, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same.
I had a conference in Novi. Novi, N-O, I think I'm pronouncing it right. N-O-V-I. It was, yeah, it
I
was
don't know.
Novi, Michigan. Yeah, I don't remember.
A
Where.
conference?
Yeah, I had a conference up there. Yeah. Yeah, Novi.
Well, my family was all actually from the Grand Rapids area. My great grandfather immigrated from Holland, from the Netherlands, which you might notice from my last name is like still fairly Dutch.
Definitely.
Every time I get in a cheap mode, my sister will say, "Dutch, you're being Dutch."
Oh my gosh, you sound like a friend of mine. Oh my gosh.
They used to say we were being Scotch when that happened.
Yeah.
And while I'm in Texas, they say you are from you have your jersey on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I'm actually very direct. I mean, that's part of what my culture is, not just New Jersey. It's just, we're very direct. This is what we do. And yeah. Not insulting, just direct. So they'll tell me I have my jersey on, as you have your Dutch on, or you have your, whatever.
That's for sure. Can't help it. It is what it is.
It is what it is. We take it and we just enjoy it. Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
Well, Sue, I've got to run, but thank you so much. I guess we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
And if you guys want to do it in the future, if you have any feedback or whatever, get with Michelle or myself. Just so you know, my email, if you want to communicate with me, is sewwithsue@gmail. And I'll write it down here so you can see it. It's got double W's.
Yeah. So with Sue.
Go with
here.
Sue.
Sewwithsue@gmail.com. Okay.
Yeah. SEWWITHSUE.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you
you.
guys.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you,
Sue.
Sue. That was
Bye.
great.
Bye.